Hello there and welcome back to Japan, where we will be continuing our review of BAND-MAID's World Domination album. Now, thank you for everyone who's been sticking with me after all of the computer problems and various things that happened recently. But we had got as far as listening to Rockin' Me. Now, obviously, just to make sure that I'm listening to the album properly, I did just go through and listen to the first 7 tracks again. So that brings us up to the song called Clang, track 8. Let's just open that up in the player. I had to reinstall all my software, so I've just reinstalled like VLC player and everything, and let's get ready, turn it up. So yeah, basically so far been a really good album. Like I say, there's been some good variation in the writing. Talked to some of you guys in the comments about the fact that they were kind of apparently quite rushed when they went to record this, and as I said, I really don't find that acceptable with the record companies treat bands like that. It was apparently they were rushed because of the tour dates, and as I said, the problem I've got with this is the fact that I think when you've got a band who are as talented as they are, but who show these creative sparks of wanting to do things that are a little bit different, but also have a very strict formula that appears in a lot of their songs, you need to give them time to experiment. You need to give them time in the studio. And I think, an album is something that lasts forever. And to sacrifice that for the sake of a couple of gigs, 4 gigs in a week or something, that's 4 nights that will be over as soon as they're over. I think that it's terrible this happens, but as was pointed out in the comments as well, a really good comment that came up is the fact that obviously not only is it the fact that nowadays bands only really make their money from performing live, doing touring, but also the fact that studio time costs a lot, you have to pay for staffs and overhead. So I know that it's not the most lucrative and profitable thing to do, but I think that a band like BAND-MAID, who are that talented, need to be honoured with more time in the studio and not be rushed. However, this album's come across so far as being really great. It's all been pretty much of the same hard rock ilk so far, which is not too surprising, but they have had some variations in the writing, like I said. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is track number 8. This is Clang. With a name like that, who knows what to expect, but here we go. Let's waffle more play. Oh, this one's going real hard now. This is to make up for Rockin' Me being a bit poppy. Great groove there on the drums as always. I'm liking that slow developing melody as well. Pre-chorus. They're really building up the tension and the energy for the chorus, so I hope the chorus delivers. That's really interesting, like a 2-part chorus, nicely developed, quite simple, but really nice how it did that, had the little millennial whoops in it as well. For an album track, that's a really good hook. Now that's what I'm talking about. Throw in the if you have to have a solo, throw it in somewhere where it's not expected. Nice shift up in the arrangement pattern. And great solo, builds up, ramps it into that big intro, and then the chorus. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Ooh, alright, that was not what I expected in a lot of ways. When it started off as just like, okay, this is another song fitting the normal band-made tropes, nothing wrong with that, but okay, we're kind of getting more of the same, and how's it going to vary? But that actually went down a slightly different route. I mean, first indication was the chorus. The chorus is kind of like this long, it's almost like two hooks, almost like a chorus and a post-chorus. That was really interesting. There was this feeling that there was a lot of things they wanted to do with the melody, that they had this melody and they wanted to develop it in lots of ways. The chord pattern was moving quite slowly underneath, and they're just like, this was much more of a melody-based song than you usually get from BAND-MAID. As we've discussed a few times before, BAND-MAID have a real quality for rhythm, and they do the twiddly stuff well, but usually sort of bigger melodies are something they avoid. There has been some songs on this album which have gone down that more melodic road. I'm trying to remember exactly which ones they were from looking back on the list, but yeah, there were some which were a little bit more melodic, and yeah, definitely Rockin' Me obviously being a great example of that. But this album, I think more so than this song more so than most on the album seemed to be really just everything was following the melody and letting it develop. So you had a really long chorus, like I say, broken up chorus, really long verses as well, and that's why it ended up being like a two chorus song. You know, there wasn't so much a bridge, it's just the solo put in between the second verse and the last chorus, and that's an arrangement style that I haven't really heard them use before, but it's an arrangement style which is really cool because it means that, you know, it means there's less repetition in the song, and that everything's built up to with more gradient. There's more build up to the choruses when they come. Yeah, I mean, I know this isn't a single, and the chorus is probably not on that, you know, single worthy level of songs like, you know, well, I say Rockin' Me as well, but that's not a single, but, you know, that, Dice, Daydreaming, they got really big hooks, and I know it's not on that level, but it certainly was a good hook. It was one you could sing along to as well. I imagine this would be a fantastic song live, but one that really earns it rather than just sort of pandering to the audience by constant shout along bits. What this song does is it gives you a build up. It's almost like the EDM thing where, you know, you build up to the drop. You know, this song's always building up to the hooks, and yeah, I just liked it. I like the way it was formed. I like the fact that it felt a bit different. It had a different way of playing out over its entire length. Sorry, my chair is really squeaky. You probably hear that. It had a different way of playing out its entire length, and it just felt to me almost like a breath of fresh air again. I've said that about a couple of tracks, including like One and Only was a really good example of that. A track that feels like a real breath of fresh air because it takes you in an unexpected direction, and you know every time you listen through to the album it's going to give you something different from the songs around it. Also, it's a nice way of following up on Rockin' Me, which, as much as I love it, is a very sort of traditional format rock and roll, sort of heavy rock and roll song. So yeah, great stuff, really enjoying that. This album, like I say, although I mentioned at the beginning of the video they were kind of pressured on time, and I get the feeling that a lot of this is just going to be hard rock all the way through, with exception to Daydreaming, which we already covered the single of that, the music video for that, and I know that's a bit different. Although it feels like it's going to be just kind of hard rock all the way through, again, one of the qualities I say, and I also say this when I talk about BAND-MAID having a formula, which they do have, is that they still manage to, even within certain stylistic restrictions, they do manage to find a way of making each song have its own character. Like I said, the only song that I didn't feel that way about so far on this album was Spirit, which we've had a big conversation about, because I know a lot of people really love that song apparently. But otherwise, it just feels like almost all of their songs really have like oodles of character, even when you can kind of already tell from the beginning where they're going to go. So with a song like this, it really bucks the trend of the style of arrangement as well, as again One and Only did in a very different way. It gives you a nice, refreshing taste. But yeah, again, it's an album doing fantastically well. So look forward to having you guys follow me on to the next one. Next track is Turn Me On. Let's see how that goes. Until then, though, for now, you know, you could go back and check those videos. Or, you know, you could, like, watch other videos I've done of other bands. Or you could check out more BAND-MAID. Or, you know, you could watch people doing those skateboard videos where they go up and they kick the back and it, like, does a flippy thing. But then they fall on the railing and lose their ability to have children. Whatever you want. Ciao for now.